No more confusion, no more suffering, no more misunderstanding, no more darkness, because I know. You see, with Pluto going in Aquarius, that's the test. Pluto is all possible knowledge. It's just the truth, and then it's the truth of truths. Pluto is known from my study is God and or the guru. Yes, the truth. The truth, you know, that one that nobody wants to look at. But it sets us free. Boy, does it get deep, and we have to pierce through veils and veils of illusion. That's the truth too, you know. The illusions aren't not the truths, aren't not truths. They are truths, and we have to look in order to get through it. If we were to get through an illusion that causes unnecessary suffering, then we have to look at these truths that are not solid, called illusion. The generator of illusion, each individual has the capability of generating illusion just to themselves. And then the mirroring, the house of mirrors that can go on between two people that don't understand the nature of the mind, which is a false information field. That's something that we can talk about. That's very, very. It's a concept that we can look at. And say, yeah, I know. Pointing at the truth of unsolid things, you know, and false information field is one. I mean, the mind is all about it. The mind, as far as science is concerned, is non-existent. We don't see the mind, we don't see a thought, we don't see even a word, really. I'm not discarding the world of vibrational frequency. We're just talking about the lower. There is a lower. You could say the low life, and then there is the high life. You know, it's the same mind that sees itself now. The low life doesn't see the nature of the mind and talk about. See, this is a conversation that should be talked about. It's called Buddhism, by the way. That conversation between the guru, the one who has set the mind aside, who is able to just see the mind and doesn't really have that as a filter. Reality is enough. Very different life, very different life. I was just thinking of the difference. But this is an illumination, an illumination. A lot of people don't know what these words mean. And it's like, well, just look them up. You know, use the Webster's dictionary at least. They're into changing words nowadays, but anyway, illuminator. It just means false light, but it's lit. The mind illuminates into awareness, right? And if the awareness is not alert enough, can get very, very distracted and sidetracked by the illusion of mind. Lots going on there, lots to talk about that as far as emotional reactions to mind or anything else. You know, that's a whole different thing. I mean, we are complex little beings. And even with all of that, psychologists, I mean, this real science says that psychology is a pseudoscience. We aren't studying anything but behaviors. We can't see. What I'm going to say next you know, everybody has this log or library, and who knows what it is, right? Bad memory? See, I associate bad memory as just a mind who doesn't use it. It's not being used right. It's unconscious of its focus that you know, what is the use of holding on to bad memories? Bad memory. You know what I'm saying? But people do. People tend to just grab onto it the most. It's like it's a discipline to first of all give the experience enough space. You know, just say I'm not to blame. They aren't to blame. It just happened. Really, always have that conversation with yourself. See, this is what Aquarius age and Pluto is going to test within each individual. Each individual has a responsibility to start that communication with themselves. You know, any other good, say, caretaker would kind of alert them and say, well, what did you think you were doing at that time? Like for you, did it pay off? You know, kind of a thing, like alert them that they are there. You don't try to be their faculties for them or push or pull them out or into danger. You know what I'm saying? This is the Aquarius age speaking. See, I have Aquarius moon at 14 degrees. And people who have Aquarius in them, they are like 25 years ahead of their time because it rules the future. It rules the common human etiquette that might be being destroyed. It has everything to do with freedom. Has everything to do with freedom. Within an individual, that's the concern. It's about people. It's about our humanity. But it's about that individual programming. More and more, we're going to have these conversations about it. Because it's all, see, the I know, the I know says, we already know. It's already story after story after story. How does it work? Well, it's so hocus pocus when they talk about it. Well, it takes 40 days to rewire your brain, to reprogram it, get a good, better habit, something or whatever, you know, they talk about. It just takes 40 days. That's what they're talking about when Christ walks away from all of the mental noise of other people. See, other people that don't know that they have a responsibility to go in and manage their own programming. Reprogram if you have to. That means get the fuck away from each other. This is what's going to be well understood within, well, see, this is what's well understood within the human Aquarius. If you're an Aquarius or you have an Aquarius moon, you know, you like your privacy and you do respect that in others. You respect it in others. It's just you're a natural. You're a natural at, I'm laughing now because, man, if they had their way, they would just blast off of the planet Earth and say, fuck these people, you know, because they're way ahead of their time. They're very, I would say, human. To pointing at the highest capacity that a human can be, which includes interacting with technology that is resonating in harmony. And we will see a lot of that being held back. It's already held back. What Pluto will do is say, look, it's being held back, and so do you want it? Yes or no? And people will say either no or yes, based on their programming. Right? That's what we're dealing with right now. Is like, wait a minute, man. You know, I can do better for myself by just shifting my programming and my you know, and a lot of it, for me, my experience, you know, boy, over the last 14 years that Pluto has been in Capricorn, it's been really hard on my Libra and my you know, it's just like I've had enough, and a lot of people has had enough. Not understanding what happened there. What was see, it's important not to miss the higher frequency, higher mind, like I was talking about, the high life. Otherwise, that low life, man, they always want you there, which is, if you notice, it's like to seal up the season of Pluto and Capricorn would be to get to literally release an agent onto the population that would bring people down into that lower life frequency, pretty much seal it into materialism and, well, the fear-driven, and then anesthetizing. Basically, probably what it is to become more of a competitive, um, money-making materialist. I don't know how else to put it, but just say, did you notice that? God, and how many people went for it? Well, we could say 80% because we can relate that populace, that number, with the amount of people psychologists say that those are the ones who are tilted over into pathological narcissism, which doesn't say much. Pathological narcissism, those are words I say, if you want to clarify, tilts the population over into, there's just more people that are blinded by their minds and don't have real intelligence. It's a daring place. You have to get away from people. See, this is the thing, is when you get away, this is what Aquarius would say. This is the technology that you are. Get away from each other, then you start, okay, do meditation. Do meditation, you'll just run and bury your head in the sand. You start confronting your mind. That's what meditation is. Boy, a lot of people can't do it. It's like, I did it for 20 minutes and that was it. And it's like, no reason to get out of it. That's why you want to take 40 whole fucking days, I guess. And but you can take your walk out into the desert. There's walking meditation, and or really, I suggest an art form. Anything that just requires you to focus your mind on something that will make you begin to see the nature of the noisy mind rather than the nature that focuses on things beyond itself, which isn't really a focus. That's what's weird. It's just expanding and being aware. And musicians, I'm a musician, and that's a form of meditation. That's one thing you can say that a really, oh boy, we don't have a good example of what real music is anymore. Not really. It's supposed to be played live, and that's so that's got to be brought back because musicians aren't thinking when they're playing. Of course, if it's a piece that goes over and over again, like Led Zeppelin are doing, of course they're not thinking. They're just playing the back of their hand. They fucking never woke up that day, That's simple. Just make sure the electricity is working. Anyway, to amplify it all and distort it. But anyway, not meant for that. Music, talk about the individual. It's a higher learning tool that you should have in your background, just like astrology. It's not an amusement park ride. It's a higher learning tool that you should have in your pocket as just a possibility chart. People are walking around pretty blind unless they have that. See, it's necessary as a map kind of a thing because, yeah, of course, you could be super conscious and you don't need it. But not everybody's that way. Not everybody's that way, but you can just navigate and you can see, okay. This is the possibility of what's going to happen when Pluto goes into Aquarius, is that a lot of people will be jolted. First of all, and we were studying this, but a lot of astrologers are just clicking in. It's like, well, that Aquarius squares Taurus and Scorpio and Leo. Boy, those poor Leos. It's an opposition, which is a very unique configuration for them, being headbutted by frickin' Pluto. It's the opposition. Well, Pluto goes around and does that once every 246 years or something like that. So this is like, poor Leos, I must say, and you can see them right now in total denial. They don't have a conversation for their annihilation. They don't have a conversation for their just drop ego. Your mind is going to be destroyed. All of them lights and all of that power and control that you think you have over individuals. Nope. And that's going to be tough because we're not playing anymore. And you don't try to be anybody else's faculties. You, if anything, you lead them to the threshold of that and say, well, and that's what storytelling is. That's what any buddy who displays themselves as perhaps you can see through them and look at a information field that you're interested in and take yourself there in case you're interested, but it's never about people. That's the thing. See, people are just either hollow bamboos where much is happening through them. These are the people who live beyond mind, but now. And it takes a while, very, very subtle, to pick up. These people are conducting a lot of things daily, um, but their whole life is this conduct of something that comes through them, and like a looking glass, it's coming in to the senses of people instead of drawing it out and using them somehow, like a presence, their presence, that's uh, the tightrope that we're walking on, that we need to stay. It's like, wait, no, I am now, boy, who can afford to do that? Nobody. A lot of nobodies. What I'm saying is, 80% of people are caught up in the maze. It's called the matrix, which you don't even know, but it's the desire of the mind being used. It's the illusion of mind just being coaxed along. What is it? It's like this machine, man, that says, um, we control with money. Everybody, but really it's like it's about food. It's like, well, can we just have some food? And everybody doesn't know. It's like, you just are afraid of going hungry, which that won't ever happen if you can just slow down and focus. Boy, if you ever really knew the nature of a garden growing around you, if you were really maintaining what you really needed out there, running around and around and around for what? Wasn't even your idea. See, this is the problem. Why we have such a climate problem, like the pollution and stuff, is like, these are minds that, by the way, it takes personally, per individual, one person, the more mind and illusion that you're upholding, especially ego and that competition and that I'm me and you're you, and we are separate, we can't relate, kind of a thing. It takes a lot of energy to live like that. So what do you need? Food. You need a lot of food. So and so the body, if you're not really thinking about what's really going on emotionally and stuff, you're going to store all that. If it's about being in competition, you're going to build armor, so hello America, hi, can't seem to stay underneath 225 pounds, and you think that's healthy. When it's like, okay, never mind. Reality shows more. People, shh, be quiet. Be quiet, because there's people living in denial, and you start saying, who cares, man? They're gonna fucking sit on you. And then there's other people who just are comedians, and they go blah, 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 and that's, boy, is that dangerous? I'm so glad that I am safe in my little hole. I'm just kidding. No, that's precisely it, babes. And with Pluto going into Aquarius for me, I feel so good. Getting it away from my Mercury. There has been a lot of projection on me personally, and you might be able to relate with this, but this is also humanity. That the narcissistic society, this includes, it's your fault that the climate has collapsed, and it's human beings, those stinking human beings. It's like, well, the human beings are being taken over and controlled by these, we could say, non-human occupation who just find out what's happening. Really, do we really know? Do we really know who's behind it and what's behind it? Why we can't just say, well, actually, I have an idea over here. Can we try this? Look, we've made our own water clean. We kept it clean. We have our own food. And we feel good. We feel good. It's not like, gotta go, gotta go. What is this fucking shit? All of that's going to change, babe. If you've been quiet enough and you've seen a different life enough, you'll see, oh my God, madness. And what is it worth? What is it worth? Is it worth all that pollution? That's what it's worth. I mean, looking at it, done without love, done without the heart, really you're in your mind, running in fear, pollution across the board. And of course, it takes a lot of energy to uphold that illusion. That's what Frank Zappa says. Frank Zappa says, man, when when they can't afford to maintain the illusion any longer, you will see the chairs pulled out from under you, and the tables pushed back, and the curtains are drawn, and then there's the brick wall at the back of the stage. You have not ever seen your real life. You have been imprisoned in mind. And there's only a few people, and it's going to be happening more, where there's, okay, Joe Esperanza, I don't if that's his name, I don't even know, but see, I tend not to look at these things unless we can align with it. Really, we should be doing our own. You know, you look at these guys, it's like, well, yeah, you had to get hit by a train before you learned this instant healing thing. I mean, not really my style. You know, there's a lot like that. But there's other people that say, no, you don't really have to have a near-death experience to start hooking into your higher intelligence and a deeper purpose, and as far as the illusion and the possibility there. Thanks for listening to this. And it's Saturday. We haven't even done Sunday there yet. Imagine how that's going to be.